Good evening, and this is Basil Green speaking. We are live this Sunday evening, at 1 minute to 7. Today I'm early, so we gotta celebrate that. I've broken up with being late so that I can become an early bird. I want to talk about a very important topic. So we are live today on It's Basil Green again with a weekly review. I used to do this on my LinkedIn profile. I used to upload my recordings, but I moved all of that over now to the Bread Basket Show. So this is one of the slots during the week where I just talk about my thoughts for the week. I review the week and what I see happening. And I believe, in South Africa. Now, I'm a South African. I live in Durban. I grew up in Ridge. I joke around sometimes and I say I'm living on the outskirts of Ridge, just on the outskirts. I'm like almost gone. So I live in a place that is known as New City. It's on Central Drive, actually, in Ridge, but we are not part of Ridge, you can say. But I usually tell people I am from New City. If they don't know, I use Ridge as the closest place that they can find. So, but that's a little bit of, I don't know if it's part of the deception, but I must confess so that I am doing something with a pure heart, I have just one thing only. I'm not going to talk about anything else this week. I'm just going to talk about the culture of deception. When we interact with people, we find that it's become a norm to be deceptive, in South Africa. So I know there's different parts of our nation, and I got to think where I was listening to an interview. I'm going to start off with that. Julius Malema was being interviewed on national TV on SABC, and the person asked him if does he plan on staying in as the president, and he told him no. He gave a time where he is gonna retire, and then the interviewer told him that, you remember you told me that you said you are not planning on leaving the EFF. Now I don't know whether I heard properly. I don't know if the interviewer is lying, or was Julius Malema lying. I'm just gonna leave that there. Now, we understand also there was a time where our former president was denying allegations, and then until he confessed, So there was things that he was denying, and he ended up confessing and then that's how they got him off, I think, as president. But there are other things. I was at my bank as a business banker. My business bank, and I was going and sort out some stuff, and I was really, really upset. I won't lie to you. I'm gonna confess I wasn't in a good mood, and I was coming from the courts because I was going and lodge a complaint. Not a larger complaint. You can't complain, but a small claims court. I wanted money back from an architect that was doing my plans. So I came from there because the guy refused to refund me my money. I still have the plan with me, but it's not done in a way that I wanted it to be done. And when we had a conversation, he basically told me that I needed to pay more even if we wanted to change the roof. I didn't want a roof on my building. What I wanted was something without a roof. I gave him the specifications, but he gave me something else. And then I went. He came. He gave me I had to chase after this guy. So he gave me the house plan. It had the wrong address. Now, even if you just put there Central Drive, I stay in New City, but it's on Central Drive. He put a different road. And I went and say, hey, you know what? I don't longer want your service because he kept giving me excuses. He was just very arrogant yesterday when I saw him after I went and submit the letter of demand to his house. His mom ended up signing, and I did share. Well, I sent an email to one of my list. So if you weren't on the list, you wouldn't have got the story. But basically, the guy, I saw him yesterday and he told me you are not getting anything back, and he was eating something. He came, he washed his car at the car wash. He told me I'm getting no money. And he still got petrol to put in his car to drive around. So he's basically enjoying the money that I gave to him. He's been enjoying. I don't know how long it lasted him. So he's telling me he's got no money to pay me. There's no money to even make a recording. So I wouldn't advise you to use this guy's services. Why? Because he's not trustworthy. And one of the people that he did a work for, he spoke and he said that the guy did all the necessary things that he needed to do for him. And then somebody else built a house. So it's very, very upsetting. And I even told him, you know, I don't want to talk to you because I'm going to get so angry with you. You know, the type where that he knows that I'm saved and I'm probably being set up, you know. That was my weakness before. And I thought, hey, let me not give in to this guy's bad behavior. Now, when he first came to me, he came promoting that he is a qualified architect. He came promoting that he is registered with the building council or something like that. And I gave in. Why? Because I saw a young man. I believed in him, and I thought, hey, you know what? He is an up-and-coming young person. I got somebody in my family that does the same thing. And I told him, I'm just doing you a favor because I'm supposed to at least go to one of my family members and give the money to him. I got somebody to do it for me already. And he said, no, just give me the work. I'll work with surveyors, I'll work with engineers, you know, all of these things he was talking. He gave me all the promises. And then it took a very long time. His parents had to step in to help to assist me. And I think, hey, there's something wrong. Maybe he's being influenced by the wrong company. Why? Because this is not the behavior of a person who comes from a home that is stable. This is criminal behavior that he's doing. But at the end of the day, he keeps deceiving me, and it's become a culture, you know. Even when I went to F&B, the people were deceiving me there. I spoke to them. They gave me one story, another story, and I felt, no man, I can see, no, these people are being deceptive. They don't want to assist me with the issue that I have, and I wasn't happy when I left F&B. You know, I even had a conversation with one of the people that were there. I even told him, you are gonna give me my recording, because when I was working in a call center, we used to tell the customer that whenever you want the recording, you can request it and we will send it to you. She told me a long story that I won't get it unless I have one of the F&B staff there to listen to it, or if one of my lawyers subpoenas them to give me the recording. Couldn't understand that, but along the way they were actually deceiving me, and it made it look like I was the one that was on the wrong. I was at a situation where one of the ladies was helping me, and she even ended up seeing my password. I thought, okay, on with my online banking, I was putting in the right password. I even showed her that this is my password. When I tried to change the password and use the normal password that I used, it told me I can't use that password. And she saw that it was that password that I had chosen. And then the second time I changed it to a different password, it still never go through. It never work out. So it was just a very, very upsetting moment for me. But at the end of the day, I realized that we have a culture of deception. We are taught to actually deceive people in the hope that we don't get caught, so that we can outsmart that individual. A person that speaks the truth, even if you're just doing it 99% of the time, even 100% of the time, a person that is always truthful is seen as an idiot, is seen as somebody that is not smart, and they are seen as somebody to be taken for a ride. Uh, how is it that in South Africa we do this kind of thing? Now, I know some people will say you can't legalize morality. It's a moral issue, and we can't force people to be moral, or something like that. I don't know if I'm making sense, but our laws are good. However, we find that people are still lying. There are many examples that you find politicians lying to one another. We see what's happening in our nation right now with the looting and all of that. We are experiencing a lot of deception, and we know some people are being lied about. Some people are lying to us. I believe that even with this coronavirus, now hear me out, I'm not saying that people aren't dying. I'm not saying that there isn't a pandemic, but in the midst of all what is happening to us and around us, there is an element of deception taking place. There is an element of deception taking place. And I believe it's also happening in our government camp. I was listening to a video, not this week, or was it this week? Or by Thabo Mbeki. They were interviewing Thabo Mbeki a couple of years ago, and he was talking about how there's a culture of lies within the ANC, and he was pointing at Juju, and he's saying Julius Malema was also there. And the funny part is that after I watched that, Julius Malema was on TV, and I thought, okay, is this a coincidence or not? So this was maybe to highlight, something. I believe God allows me to see certain things to prepare me for other things that are going to take place. I know that as I'm speaking about deception this week, there is things that are going to start taking place. There are things that are going to be dismantled, because I'm not going to end with this weekly review. Tomorrow we are going to be talking. We're going to be praying into this deception. So I'm going to be praying tonight. It's going to be what I'm going to be praying into the whole week, speaking about deception. How many of us are being deceivers, and why are we having a culture of deception in our nation? People can tell you, even companies will tell you, we believe in speaking the truth, but in the back end, the truth is never ever spoken. Even when politicians, I don't know why I keep speaking about politicians. We know politicians are known for lies. Uh, if you talk to somebody about politicians, they'll just tell you that they are liars. Even the police officers are liars, many of them. And these are people that are supposed to uphold the law in our nation. And you'll find there is an element of deception taking place within the police force. This is a scary thing. Why? Especially when it's coming from people in the police force, people within any kind of legal thing that we need to visit. Even in the courts, people lie. They deceive. People falsify information. They present themselves as one thing, but they change when no one is looking. Their true colors come out when the cameras are away and when they are sitting alone. I know there are a lot of things, even in the church. For those of you who are listening from the church, even in the church, there is an element of deception. Now, if you're finding it in the church, it is a problem. Why? Because the church is the driver of truth. So Jesus said, I am the truth. So if we are people who are following the truth, we are supposed to be truthful, full of the truthful. If you're going to read it as it's written, T-R-U-T-A, truthful, Truthfull. I hope I'm spelling it right. My spelling has been very bad, but I believe we are supposed to be truthful. I think it got one L at the end. Excuse me. But we are supposed to be full of the truth if we are followers of the truth. And I believe there is an element of deception even in the church. And if we are people who are strengthening this deceiver, I don't want to talk about what the word of God says too much. I know Jacob, Jacob was called Jacob the deceiver because he was a deceiver. So we don't want to increase or strengthen that spirit in our lives. And I believe there is a time where God has to break all of that off of our lives. Now, I'm talking about a weekly review, but I'm also speaking about God. Why? Because I am called by God to do this. We can't allow this deception to increase in our lives. We are South Africans. We are supposed to be known as people who are truthful. Now, imagine if people must find out that you are a deceiver. No one will trust you when you are a deceiver. And I saw a lot of stuff. I know I don't want to be talking about too many things, but this is what I'm going to be reviewing this week. We have this problem. I just shared a couple of examples. There are bigger things going on in our nation. There are things that are not being released. Even in the news, we are not given the full story. We are not given the full story, and that is a form of deception as well. When the truth is left out and only a certain part of the story that is given is released to us, then we are being deceived in that story. So I spoke about that I think last week in one of my podcast episodes when I was talking about the video where they were speaking about Jacob Zuma and Donald Trump. And I felt that the news reporter, I think his name was Sherwin Bryce Peace, he was reporting from New York, and he was interviewing some uh, lawyer lady or law expert. And that's what they do. I've seen it on TV where they will just put some law expert there. So and so was a law expert, so that it gives that credibility. And the people just buy it because that person has that brand behind him. That person has that credibility behind him, and because that person is speaking and some information is left out, you and I just take it for as it is. I'll make an example. This is where I learned to just decipher the truth and always dig deeper than what we are receiving. With the whole creation story and the Big Bang Theory, many people who are scientists used to come forward and speak the truth. And then those people used to be silenced. Why? Because the secular humanist agenda was being pushed forward. So even here in South Africa, I think it's a worldwide problem. Why? Because they are no longer like borders. The internet allows us to interact with anybody anywhere in the world, and we are finding that there's a specific culture that's being released. There's a group of people who are teaching others how to move forward in life and how to attain success. And one of the ways these people do it is by deceiving the masses. So I believe now in South Africa there has to be a change. We have to become people who are truthful. We have to eat the truth most of the times, so that we can be like people who are truthful. We show that we don't lie, we don't deceive one another, so that we can move forward. In sometimes people, in order to get the truth, they also deceive. I know it sounds very, very crazy, but that is the truth. People will use deception in order to speak something true. So their truth is mixed with a little bit of a lie. Their truth is mixed with a little bit of a lie. So I just want to encourage you as we're reviewing our week, that let us not focus on being deceivers. Let us be focused on becoming people who speak the truth. And I know sometimes it's very difficult to speak the truth. Why? Because when we speak the truth, there are certain challenges that we experience. I'm going to be honest with you. When a time came for us to speak the truth, we did not, and we don't do it. It means that we are becoming deceivers, and we are becoming deceivers. Yes. So whenever we are given a situation where we must speak the truth, we have to, take the right step and speak the truth. Why? Because when the truth comes out, we who have an opportunity to speak it are actually liberating certain people. I know I've been in situations where I was dependent on people being truthful, but they held back the truth, and I had to just suck it in, suck it up and be a man and walk around being tarnished, being maimed. And I said, hey, I know what it feels like. So whenever I'm given an opportunity to be honest, I try my best to speak the truth. Why? Because when you go through that experience yourself and you are dependent on people being honest, you won't be happy when people hold back the truth for you. So I understand that we need this. We need it so much in our nation because it's causing a whole lot of problems. Just be on the lookout. All right, we spoke about deception this week, and we reviewed it. So this is something that we can carry into the next week, and just be on the lookout, even in your own life. Whenever you find yourself wanting to tell a lie, just remember, I have to be honest in my dealings with people. I have to be honest but to myself. I have to be honest and look out, even outside there, when the truth is being stifled, the truth is being covered up, so that a lie may be promoted. This is Basil Green speaking, and I am talking here on It's Basil Green again with a weekly review. Here on the Bread Basket Show on Sunday, the 1st of August 2021. So we've come into a new month, and the first review I speak about is deception. The level of deception that we are seeing in our nation and in our own lives. So we have to eradicate that so that we can permeate our lives with the truth. Goodbye.